Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing great. As I came up with a channel on network security and cloud where I discuss the certifications which I did. So it's going to help others who are interested to do certifications related to network security and cloud. And we tried to cover some basic concepts on networking. There was a basic video and then cybersecurity terminology. So today I come up with another very interesting video which talks about what are the top most common cybersecurity attacks. So we are going to also discuss on cybersecurity fundamentals where I will record end the video. But here, there are a lot of cyber attacks which happen nowadays. So there are top 10 attacks which I was able to see. It happens. They have been always top 10. And these attacks happen almost every organization, any individual, any software, any application, any network. So let's understand what are the top 10 cybersecurity attacks, what are the different tools we use, how we need to prevent some of those attacks. So I'm discussing it based on my knowledge. You might have your own strategy. So every cybersecurity analyst has its own way to deal with these attacks. So let me share my screen and let's go directly jump to our video and let's start discussing top 10 most common cyber attacks. My name is Sheikh Rashid Javed. I am Microsoft certified trainer. I am EC Council certified instructor and cybercrime intervention officer. I work as a corporate trainer in cybersecurity. So this is going to be very interesting. Top 10 most common cyber attacks. We are going to see DOS and DDoS is always one of the top attacks. MITM, man-in-the-middle attack. We'll see phishing attacks, ransomware, password attacks, SQL injection. We'll see DNS spoofing. We'll see insider threats. We'll see malware attacks. We'll see cross-site scripting. Now, you will see a lot of people or a lot of authors or a lot of books, a lot of websites. They're going to show you their top attacks. But I have seen, I work in cybersecurity for the last 5 years. I have seen these attacks at top. There might be some other attacks in the list, like new attacks on IoTs, on cloud. A lot of attacks happen. But to me, these attacks have been at top 10. I tried to did some research where I tried to see when I interact with a lot of people from government, from private companies, I see that these are the top 10 attacks, based on my knowledge or based on my research, based on my understanding. So what is a cyber attack? It is an attempt by hacker to damage or destroy a computer network or system. So that's where we say your system, your network, your application, or someone is under cyber attack. Now, first, let's understand about DOS and DDoS attack. So what is DOS? It's a denial of service attack, which is going to flood a server with traffic, making website or resource unavailable. Now, what is distributed DOS? It is a DOS that uses multiple computers or machines to flood a target resource. Like, this is a DOS attack. You have one attacker, he is trying to attack one server. This is DOS. But if you have multiple attackers here trying to attack a server, so here volume is more. Here we have different types of attacks, volumetric protocol and all. But here an attacker might control these PCs by creating a botnet. So these could be zombies or these could be bots. But here there are more attackers. That's why we say DDoS attack, right? This is DDoS attack. Now, how to do the DOS or DDoS attack? You simply go to Kali. You can use this command hping3 -c. C is the count here, like how many packets you are sending. And then you got here D, 120, S, W, and all those switches. Okay, so what we are doing, what we are trying to do here is we are doing a cyber attack. And if we see C, let's understand this attack here, right? So C is count, where you are sending these many packets. D is the side of each packet that you want to send to the target machine. S is your SYN packets only. You're sending SYN packets, like you have seen SYN, SYNAC, reset, and all those packets. W, so what is W? It's a TCP window size, like 64. P is the port. You are attacking port 21 with flood, where you're going to send a lot of packets with random source, right? So what you're doing here is you're using a random source IP, right? You're spoofing, you're pretending to be someone, and you're attacking this target. So this is a simple attack. You go to Kali or you go to Parrot and do this command. You're going to do an attack. then you can open Wireshark on the target and try to see that attack. You have to do Control-C to stop this attack. So other tools you can see is LOIC, Low Orbit Ion Cannon, XOIC, Hulk, HTTP, Unbearable, Lord King, or DDoSim, Are You Dead Yet, Rudy, Tor's Hammer, Pyloris, OWASP, Switchblade, or Devoset, or GoldenEye, right? So I've used some of these tools while doing the attack, but you can use, these are the top 10 tools which I have seen. So this is how you do a simple attack, DOS or DDoS attack. Man in the middle attack. So what do you do here? It is a type of cyber attack in which the attacker secretly is going to intercept and relay message between two parties who believe they are communicating directly with each other. It's a type of eavesdropping in which the attacker intercepts and controls the entire conversation. Or sometimes you can also steal, some passwords. For example, this is a person here. He's opening FTP, doing FTP://target.com, trying to connect this target server and sending some user ID and password. So I can sit on an attacker machine. This is my machine. I can use Canada Bill. I can use Wireshark. I can use TCP dump or any tool, and I can poison this route so I can get this user ID and password. Now this happens on all weak protocols which are not secure. So you can also use EtherCap with G while you get a graphical interface, and then you have a lot of options to do the attack. It's very simple. And what are the tools? Packet Creator, EtherCap, DSnip, Canada Bill. So these are some other topmost tools which we use to do man the middle attack. So you can sit in the network, and if anybody is trying to communicate through the server, through the default gateway, you can poison the route so you can get all the credentials. Phishing. So what is phishing attack? Most of the times we get an email like this, right? So it will ask you, please update your password, click on the link. So never click on these links. If a bank, especially, when a bank is asking you to click on a link, then what you need to do is just verify the link. Go to VirusTotal, where you can just verify the link if it is good link or is it malicious link. So phishing is a type of cybersecurity attack during which malicious actors send message pretending to be a trusted person or pretending to be a trusted bank, right? So never ever click on a link which is asking you to reset your password. Now these are some things which I would like to access here to show you, but there are different types of phishing. One's a zipper phishing, where you do target phishing. You target someone, like you target me, you target Sheikh, so you know about Sheikh. So you can create a personalized message like, Sheikh, I know you have been working as a cybersecurity trainer, you traveled to Dubai yesterday, so I'm creating a message for you, and you make it personalized, right? So I can easily trust and click on that link. Or whaling, where you catch a big fish, where you attack those CEOs, managers, because they have a lot of information, right? So let's see what we have. So this is one of the important document which we have. I was able to see a lot of documents, but this one is from Microsoft. So they give you how to protect from phishing. We trust Microsoft, and if you see, urgent call to action, like what you need to do first time or infrequent senders, if there's a spelling or bad grammar, if there's a general greeting in the message, so if there's a mismatch email domain, suspicious link, then do not trust these things, right? If you receive a phishing mail, how you need to deal with that. This is a suggestion from Microsoft, right? So I'll keep this in the description so you can follow that. And this is a tool where most of the attackers use such tools to create such a phishing mail. They might be using SET, Social Engineering Toolkit, and they might also be using a website like this, right? So what you do with this website is you create a mail, so you pretend to be someone, right? We have been using these tools unless and until your mail is not blocking spam, but you can use a tool like this and create a mail and send from anyone to, anyone. You can be anonymous here. And this is a very nice test which you can take. It is from SonicWall, and we do this practice. If we need to understand, is this site a phishing site or not? So I would say, go and take this test, right? So you will say, is it phishing? Is it legitimate, right? So let's assume you say it's phishing, okay? Legitimate, phishing, legitimate, right? Phishing, legitimate, right? It will give you, you are not right, and here you are right. What's the reason? And you can download that paper. This is one way to kind of, this is very nice test, which I, discuss with a lot of people who are new to cybersecurity to take this test. I'm going to include all these links in the description, so it will be easy for you guys to refer them. Ransomware. So now what is ransomware? Most of the times you see a ransomware attack, right? So WannaCry attack was there. Before that, there was Petya, not Petya, Loki was there, but WannaCry was very famous. So it's a type of attack in which attacker locks and encrypt the victim's data he's going to import files and then demand a payment to unlock and decrypt the data. Now you pay your money in the Bitcoin, and you're not sure, whether they decrypt it or not. So how to protect that? You have no ransom. You have from lot of sites there which I have been using. Most of the times they decrypt, but not always. So these are the tools which you can use to do the ransomware attack. And ransom is often separate through phishing emails that contain malicious attachment, or through drive-by download. So drive-by download is when your system is routed or jailbroken and they download some software. So you don't know it's happening at the back end, all the downloads. Drive-by download occurs when a user unknowingly visits an infected site, and then malware is downloaded and installed without the user's knowledge, because his phone might be routed, right, or jailbroken. So what is the protection? Have a good backup plan, have a proper patch management. Your antivirus should be updated. Maintain the principle of least privilege for everything. So don't give too many rights. Check your email attachments when you try to download them, and do not click any web link which is on your mail. So these are the reasons how ransomware gets you affected. So these are some protection. Now you have your own strategy, but one of the best things is to have a proper backup plan. And if you encrypt data yourself, because what ransom does is going to encrypt your data. So what I do, I encrypt my data using BitLogger or VeraCrypt. So if there's a ransomware attack, it has to first decrypt my password. So I am not making it impossible, but I'm making it difficult. Now to create your own ransomware, it is very simple. So if you want to understand, you can create your own ransomware, right? So I've just referred to this link. This is how I create my own ransomware. So all the instructions are given here, how you download these things. If you want to understand more, about this attack. So all these steps are given step by step where you can create your own ransomware. I'm going to attach this link in the description. Now you have your own strategy, but one of the best strategy, but I will have a proper backup, and also I use BitLocker. So I am not saying that ransomware would not affect my computer, but I'm making it difficult. But that's the objective of security. You make things difficult, right? You cannot you cannot create impossibility. You cannot make something impossible, but you make it difficult. That is what is security, right? Now password attacks. So these are common attacks. You might have seen, a lot of password attacks happening nowadays. So what is a password attack? Password attack are one of the most common form of corporate and personal data breach. A password attack is simply when a hacker tries to steal your password. So what are the tools? So there are a lot of ways to do the password attack. Maybe they will do phishing to steal your password, or man the middle attack, which we discussed. Or they can do brute force, where they try various combinations, like, let's assume my name is Sheikh. So I might be using SHE @ or dollar with my date of birth. So I'll make different combinations out of that. Or dictionary attack, right? So I fix a dictionary. I'm just saying, talking about brute force, you make various combinations, right? And dictionary attack. So the one I was discussing is also an attribute-based attack. So there's a lot of categories they have. Dictionary attack is where you load a dictionary, you download from the internet, and you try to verify. So if I'm using an easily guessable password, you can break it. Credential stuffing is you got some credentials and you're using it. For example, I got like 10 passwords. I'm trying to use it against all the employees in my company. Or I can use a keylogger, where you type a key and I'm going to steal that, right? A lot of keyloggers are there. So these are the tools: Hashcat, John the Ripper, Brutus, WFuzz, THC Hydra, Medusa, Rainbow Crack, OPH Crack, Loft Crack. This is password auditing tool. So I've been using all these tools. It's very easy. If you do a Google search how to use the tool, you'll be getting commands like, I have just included Hydra tool. So I'm going to load a username. If I know the username is root, it will be easy for me because I am going to load a password file, right? So this is an inbuilt password file, and it's going to try the root with all the passwords in the file against this SSH. Right? T is the number of threads, how many tasks you're doing in parallel. It's going to target this SSH server here. So how to prevent password attacks? There are a lot of ways, but I like this link here, right? This is from simple 3 ways to prevent your passwords, right? How to prevent password from WikiHow. Very nice article. It just says, about how you protect your password, like use different password in your account, create your password if you think you have been compromised, and use two-factor authentication, set your account to log after certain failed attempts. So everything is discussed. I'm going to include this so you can go in detail. Now, there are a lot of tools available online, but these are some of the tools which I am been using and I like. So I'll be sharing them, all these links in description. SQL injection. So SQL injection happens because it's a code injection technique which is used to attack data-driven applications in which malicious SQL statements are inserted into the entry field for execution. Now you can write a simple query. And I have been using this simple query and I was able to attack a lot of live websites because you think it's an old technique, but there are still some sites which are vulnerable. So you can write this :1 is called one, condition becomes true. Without typing username and password, you can log in and you can change anything in the website, right? So what are the other tools? You can use SQL map, automate SQL injection and database takeover tool, or JSQL injection, Java tool for automatic SQL database injection, BBQ SQL, blind SQL injection tool, or NoSQL map, automated NoSQL database, another tool, Vonage, or you have white window. This is a SQL vulnerability scanner. If you see a website is vulnerable to SQL injection, then you can attack it. Or Explore, human and machine readable web vulnerability testing format, blind SQL, this is bit shifting, injection through bit shifting, or Leviathan, wide range mass audit tool, or BlizzQ, right? So these are some tools. I've been using SQL map. It is very easy. You try to detect the database. Like this is the command. Once you go to Kali or Parrot, you just try to see if there's a database behind this site. And in the database, you search for tables. In the table, you search for columns. In the column, you get a row, and then you can dump the row, whatever is there. So it is very easy to do attack with SQL map. So what is the defense? Validate input. Always check the input. So most of the sites will not allow these characters. Don't trust any user input, anyone coming from insider, to prevent insider attackers. Make sure you have a whitelist, because creating blacklist is where attackers can play around. So always keep your whitelist and have a latest technology. Scan regularly. Aquanalytics is very nice tool which you can use. You will also have a free version. So just download Aquanalytics and search your website to see if it is vulnerable to SQL injection. There are a lot of other sites available online which you can do a Google search. DNS spoofing. So this is an attack on the DNS. Process of poisoning entries on a DNS server to redirect a target user to malicious site, right? So what happens when you go to Google, you will reach to some malicious site. So what are the tools? DNS Sniff. The function of the tool is to navigate all the DNS requests to fake local computer host file once it is created in the name of the phony website IP, right? Or ARP spoof. This is used, this is a command for the IP address, right? To issue a command for IP. Now, how to do that attack? It's easy. I have just attached a link here. So how to protect? There's a protocol DNSSEC, right? It's strength authentication in DNS using digital signature based on public key cryptography. With DNSSEC, it is not DNS query and response themselves that are cryptographically signed, but rather data itself is signed. So what do? You add a record here, right? So you add a DNS record in your domain here. So it is going to make it sure that all these queries are being verified, so they don't come unknown from anyone. Now, if you go to this link here, it just talks about how to do this attack using EtherCap. So we do the attack, using Kali, or you can use Parrot, and the commands are given here, right? So you go to this, you start this tool here, and then, you just edit this file, you start this tool, ifconfig, get the IP, and go to leafpad, make some, change to your host file, and then go EtherCap G to get the graphical interface, and then you'll get the target. So you're here, you will then attack, to understand that. So it is easy to do the DNS attack, but it just needs to be, how secure your DNS server. Is it your local DNS? Is it, are attacking cache, or attacking which server, right? We're not attacking root servers because we know they're secure. Right? Insider threat. So this is our employees. We used to trust our employees, but an insider threat is a malicious threat to an organization that comes from people within the organization, like employees, former employees, contractors, business associates who have inside information concerning the organization's security practices, data, and computer systems. So those people whom we trust, right? So they have some information, right? SolarWinds Security Event Manager is a tool, or, Manage Engine Endpoint DLP. So Datadog Security Monitoring, PRTG Monitor, Splunk, ActiveTrack. So what these tools are, they protect from insider threat. They keep a track. Why is it difficult to detect? Because there's no hardware and software, and you cannot differentiate what an employee is doing. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Where someone sitting on his laptop in your office could be someone who doing something good for the company, but you never know if there's something bad, right, happening. So it could be a malicious insider. It could be someone who is negligent. He doesn't know things, or it could be accidental. Sometimes things happen on accident, like, someone in AWS or in Azure just send a command where a lot of bad things had happened. So this could be accidental, right? It can happen with anyone. Or malicious. He knows what he's doing, but he's selling that with other people sitting outside. Okay. So we need to That's where we have zero trust models nowadays, right? We don't need to trust anyone. Otherwise, we used to think whatever is within the parameter is to be trusted. Whatever is outside parameter, we used to draw that, imaginary boundary, but we don't have that. And another important attack which we have is the malware attack. So what is malware? Is a malicious software. Malware are typically infect a machine by tricking user into clicking and or installing a program that they should not from the internet. So what are the malware types here? So we have adware, through the advertisement. Advertisement, it's not a problem, but sometimes attackers combine adware with malware, that is malvertising, or fileless malware, which infects your memory and all that without infecting files. Viruses, worms, which try to spread to jump your network. Trojans, which pretend to be good, but they have bad intention, or bots, which are being used in botnet, or ransomware, which is going to attack you to, to kind of, ransom is asking for money. Now, if it is encrypting, it's another type of ransomware, which we call cryptware or some other, software. But ransom is, it's asking for money to keep your data under control. Spyware is spying on you, your passwords and all that. Most of the keyloggers come along with spyware, like Stago key and all that. So what is the on the good side for malware removal? We have Bitdefender, we have Avast, we have Norton, we have McAfee, we have Kaspersky, we have Panda, but these are some antiviruses. So we also need anti-malwares, we need anti-rootkits, we need adwares, we need those pop-up blockers, we need anti-ransomware tools. And you can do a Google search, you can see no ransom, it's very good. Kaspersky also has a very good tool to remove ransomware, right? So how to create viruses is very easy. You can use JPS virus maker, you can use internet worm maker thing, or you can also create a kind of a bat file, batch file with .bat. So it's very easy. I've just included a link where you just see these files here. Like, so what they can do, like you can disable someone's internet permanently by writing this command, saving it in notepad, and you need to save it with something .bat, right? When you run it, it becomes a batch file. It's going to create that damage here. Google has a very nice, article, which I have just seen, how you deal with this malware. So every organization out there has its own strategy, but I like this, this article from Google, how to protect yourself from malware, right? How to keep yourself safe. And it's very nice. It talks about the best practices. Keep your computer software updated, use non-admin account whenever possible, think twice before clicking or downloading. I would say never click, always think. So be careful about opening email attachments. Don't trust pop-up windows. They ask, like, so sometimes you see a pop-up, it'll ask you click. Even if you say no, it might do some action at the back end, right? So limit your file sharing and use antivirus. So you better do control or delete to end that task if there's a pop-up, right? Never click on anything, because you might think you're clicking on no, at the back end, there's some action happening, right? So other attack which we have here is a cross-site scripting, right? So what do? You write a script here, JavaScript, VB script. So all those advanced hackers is a type of security vulnerability that can be found in some web application. This attack enable attacker to inject client-side script into web page, which is viewed by other. It's a vulnerability may be used by attacker to bypass some access controls such as SAM origin policy. So what happens here? Maybe you see on the website, there is, contact us. So you create a script and you upload that. So if that server doesn't verify that, it gets stored in the database. So when any other user is connecting to the site, he gets infected. Now this script would be written to steal the cookies or anything. So good tools, you have damn small access scanner, which is very nice, or you have PyBelt, you have Access Hunter. These are all, scanners. So what do you do here? You use any of these tools to see if your site is vulnerable to cross-site scripting, right? So this is it about the top 10 cybersecurity attacks, right? So I have discussed on how you deal with these attacks. On the protection side, I have discussed my strategies and also some links on the safer side. Now there might be some other attacks which might happen in your organization, but as per a little bit research for last 4-5 years, where dealing with a lot of people related to cybersecurity, I see these attacks happening. Because someone was saying in one of my training that DOS attack is very old. And then in the same, like a few months back, there was a DOS attack which happened on IoT. Now attackers use those old attacks on the new technologies like IoT, blockchain, big data, cloud, and all that. So they're repeating those old techniques, right? But these are the top 10 attacks which we have nowadays. We have a lot of solution from a lot of vendors which we can test, and which is the best one, the one which works for your organization. So you need to spend a little bit time on any tool and then you will realize, because one tool might work best for me, maybe it will not work. You know, when people say Shake, which is the best antivirus, I'll say whatever works better for you. I have never been using antivirus for the last 5 years. I never get infected. So what I do, if there's a virus, I'll just go to file hippo, and I will scan my computer with malware bytes, or I encrypt my computer using BitLocker. So I know how to deal with this, and I don't think there's a need of antivirus for my computer. But if it's a big organization, maybe you need that, right? So it depends on what scenario you are in. So these are some top attacks which I discussed. So coming up with some other videos, because 3 things are important when it comes to attack, right? So who is doing the attack? So a lot of types of attackers, which we have. Maybe I'll just come up with another video while we discuss what are the different types of attackers, so you'll understand how to be prepared. And second thing is, what attacks they are doing. So attacks we discussed, right? What attacks they are doing, we discussed that. Or what could be the different vulnerabilities? We can just make a video on that also. And on the protection side, what are different controls? What are different softwares you can use? So I'll surely come up with a video on that, and some cybersecurity fundamentals. So please do like, subscribe, and share this video to keep me motivated. Thank you. I'll see you in some other